easily up, easily up. He doesn't see up. You're not looking at me, boy. But easily up, easily up. He doesn't see up. You're not looking at me, boy. Good enough, good enough, good enough.
Hey y'all, it's me again, back with another video. It is what's today? It's Wednesday, October 2nd. And I just wanted to get up here before I um relax for the night and talk to y'all about something that is something that I am actually proud to say, especially after many years of feeling like. But anyway, so I wanted to get up here and say that I know that there's about a bunch of people out there like me that are going through what I am, whether you've been going through it for years like I have, or you just starting out. And I know that each and every one of us have had in our head, oh my God, I have lupus, I have this, I have that, and my life is over. I have nothing to live for anymore because I have to. Now my life is going to be full of doctors and medicine and surgeries, hospitalizations. Just, you just feel like I have nothing else to look forward to because I have to deal with all of this. Y'all, I spent so many years of my life, especially in my 20s. I spent so many years of my life like that where I was just, it was just like a long, it was just like years where I was just home and I wasn't really doing anything, and I was always feeling sorry for myself. Like, I have lupus, like I can't do anything because I'm sick and I didn't do anything. I was in this mindset where I was like, you're sick. You can't do anything. You can't do what other people do. You can't do whatever you want. You're sick. Like, and if you try, you're sick. Like, you can't do anything. And that's not true. And it took me years to finally realize that. I feel like I wasted so many years like not doing anything that I was supposed to do, that I should have done. And there are even times where I'm sitting here thinking, I'd be like, I wish I could just go back to then with the mindset that I have now and change. It would be so much stuff that I would change. But then I know a lot of people think about that. That's what I thought about. But then it's like, well, I went through so much stuff after all of that, and it's made me like a much stronger, like a different person now because I went through all of that. And it's like, yeah, I didn't do a lot of things in the past sooner. I waited till later to do it, but some of this stuff, it doesn't even matter that I waited late. I did it. Like, when I was 17, I dropped out of high school because I really couldn't even go to school. I was barely at school. Like, I had gaps throughout the year because I wasn't there. Like, in ninth grade, yeah, I missed school, but my teachers, they all knew what I was going through, so they worked with me and they understood, and I actually passed ninth grade. But when I got in 10th grade, it got worse. Like, I was barely at school. I remember the days that I went, but it's not even many days. And the teachers there, they didn't give a damn. They thought I was skipping school, even though I brought doctor's notes and I was saying I'm sick. I have lupus. I have a disease like this that makes me sick, and that's why I'm not here. But they wasn't trying to hear that. So yeah, rather than getting, well, I was failing, but my mom was just like, she was talking to me, she was like, it's no point in you going back to school because it's like you gonna go and then you not gonna be there. The last time that I remember going back to school when I was in high school was when they were doing the FK. If you live in Florida, you remember that big exam at the end of the year, the FK. That's the last time I went to school. They had the FK, and I had missed like the whole year basically. So I was just like, it's like, why am I even here doing this? I wasn't even here. Why did I show up to take a test? It's not really gonna matter because I'm not gonna pass. I didn't even finish the test because I wasn't feeling well. So it was like after that, my mom was talking to me. She was like, "You need to just drop out of school because it's like this gonna keep happening to you, and you can get your GED and you won't have to. You can. It's still graduating high school. Like this is pointless." And it really was. But that time I was a teenager and I wasn't trying to hear any of that because I've always loved going to school, even though it get on my nerves sometimes. I always love going to school. So when we talked about me dropping out, I was very upset. And I was like, I don't want to drop out of high school. I don't want to drop out of school. I want to go to school. And my mom was like, like you're gonna keep doing this to yourself. You're gonna get sick. And then it was like when I was going to school, we was telling them that I can't do gym class and stuff because I can't be in the sun, but they would still put me in gym class and they wouldn't change it or nothing. So it was just like it just different stuff. Then I had to walk to classes from outside, and it was just too much. I couldn't do that. I tried with all my might, but it was just like I was missing school like crazy. So I was just like, okay, I'll drop out. I'll drop out. And so I spent, I'm going to say, I spent years trying to get my GED. It took me years to get my GED. This was from 2011 or 2010, and I got my GED finally in 2017. So it took me that long. And some of that was on me, why I didn't get it sooner. In the beginning it wasn't because the community college here, FSCJ, they actually have it where at certain colleges here that certain campuses you can actually do a GED class, and it's basically like a regular classroom, but it's full of adults and stuff who want to get their GED. But they were really strict because if you missed one day, you had to repay for the class and you had to wait till the next start date and you had to start over. So you could go to the class 5 days a week. Then the next week you miss Monday. You can't come back to the class. You're gonna have to pay for it again and then you're gonna have to start over. Y'all, I tried this like 4 times and I kept getting sick. I kept getting sick. And I just broke down now. Like I'm never gonna get my GED. Like I wish I would have just finished high school. And I was like, I'm never gonna get my GED because I can't stay in the class. I can't stay in the class. So that didn't work out. So it was like after that I just kind of stopped after that. And I think this was around, I know 2011 was when I was doing that, or it was 2010, 2011. But then also 2011 is when I got in that relationship with that guy that I told you I spent 8 years with. That's when I met him. So I definitely wasn't thinking about that then. I was excited because I finally had a boyfriend. So I was just thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna think about nothing else. I'm happy I'm in a relationship, the first relationship ever. So I'm just gonna put all my attention on that. Don't do that. I'm telling you, don't do that. I understand that now that it's easy to like fall for somebody and then you act like that's the only thing that matters, especially if it's your first relationship. Don't do that ever, please. If it's something that you know that you need to do, you need to do it. And don't put that in front of everything because let me tell you something. I used to think that if I did do that, if I focus on this other stuff, he's gonna think I don't like him and then he might leave or he's gonna think I don't do that. Because let me tell you something. If somebody really loves you, they're not going to leave you if you're trying to better yourself or you're focusing on your future. They gonna be right there with you. They gonna be right there like, yeah, go ahead. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, go ahead. Like, keep going. Don't stop this for me. My ex was not like that. He was like, he didn't want to see me better myself. He did everything that I did to better myself. He always had something negative to say, or he would just put me down and make me feel bad for doing it. Like, but I'm not even gonna get into talking about him. I'll let y'all hear that in that next video I make about that story I told y'all. But anyways, don't do that. Don't do that. Because if somebody really love you, they're not gonna stop you from doing anything. And I really wish that I was smarter back then. I was in my early 20s and stuff and 19 and all that. So of course I wasn't thinking, I didn't think about that. And then my mom was telling me stuff like that, but you know, when you young and if you ain't listening with your parents, you like, okay, like I don't want to, you know. I wish that I would have. I know I can't go back and change that stuff now, but I wish back then that I would have been smarter. But as far as my GED, I got it. I finally got it in 2017. I stopped doing the classes because there was a waste of money and time. I found out that I could actually just study for the test at home, get the book. I got GED for dummies and I took like practice tests and stuff online and I studied and studied and studied and studied. And you can actually pay for the courses and just go take the test. Not the courses, I'm sorry. You can go pay for the test online and then you can actually go to the college campuses. You can pick one and go take it there and they give you your scores the same day. So for the most part, I passed. I was pretty confident I was going to pass like language arts, reading, and I think social studies. I always did okay in social studies. I didn't. Math was the one that I was just. I'm terrible at math. I hate math so much. So it was like I was studying for that like crazy. I was like crying and everything before the test. I was asking my sister to help me because she's good at math. I was just like breaking down, like, I'm not going to pass. I'm not going to pass this. I'm going to fail and I'm going to have to pay for it again and it's going to take me long. And I went in there and did the GED test, the GED test. That was the last one I had to do. I passed all the rest of them. That was the last one that I had to do. And I was so scared. I was just like, I know I just prayed. I was like, please, God, please let me pass this so I can get my GED. I really want to go to college. Like, I just want to go to college. I want to go ahead and start. Like, I wanted to be a journalist for so long because I love to write. And that's always been my dream. So I was just like, please let me pass. Please. I went in there, I took the test. It was not easy. It was some stuff that was easy, but I was just answering stuff, what I knew, and I was guessing some stuff, and I was like, I'm not gonna pass this. I'm gonna fail. I walked out of the college and I think I was waiting for my mom to come pick me up, my parents to come get me. And all I know is I remember I was standing in front of the college and I was leaned up against one of the posts and I got a notification that said your test scores have been posted. Click here to see now. So my heart just started beating like I was like, I'm about to fail. So I clicked on it and I opened it and y'all when I saw when I saw this, I looked down and it said congratulations, you passed the math GD test. I screamed. I was like, ah! I was like, oh my God. I was like, I passed it. Oh my God. I like started crying and I called my mom and she answered the phone. She was like, what's wrong? I was like, I passed the math test. And I was like, I was standing outside the college crying my eyes out. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I was like, I got my GED. I'm going to college. I can't believe it. I was just so happy. And my mom was like, oh my God. She was like, I'm so proud of you for like not giving up and for doing this. I was like, I really thought I was going to fail because it was so hard, but I passed. And y'all, I was just so happy. I was so happy that I finally, after years of trying to do this and going to school trying to graduate, I finally got it and I could finally go to college. When I got home, I was already looking on the college websites at like the fall term and all kind of stuff. I was like, I'm about to go to school. So I think, yeah, that's the year I actually first, that was my freshman year in college too. So yeah, I did it and I'm so happy I did that. And I did go to college for a couple years, and unfortunately, in 2019, I actually got a job because I didn't have a job at all, and I needed money. I really needed a job, so I got this job working at this big insurance company here. It was a nice, fancy office and all kind of stuff. My mom helped me get ready for the interview, and she took me down there, and I actually got the job. And so that I was actually, and this was something dumb that I did, but I guess I misread this email I got. They sent me an email from the college that said, because you know, summer terms, they don't give you financial aid, and I have to have financial aid. So they was like, they were now offering financial aid for summer term, but I didn't read the whole email because it said you had to have you had to do more than one class, and I only picked one class for the summer term, so I wasn't getting any financial aid, so I couldn't pay for the class, and I definitely couldn't come out of pocket. I didn't have a job, so I had to get a job, and they were saying that they were going to have to kick me out of the class because I couldn't pay the tuition. So what I did is, the day that I had to start training for the job, it was actually around the day of the class. So I wasn't going to be able to do both because they said you couldn't miss any training or you were cut from the job. And I was like, I'm not about to lose this. I need it. I needed it. It was paying good too. I had to make a choice. As much as I wanted to stay in school, it was kind of stupid to stay there because they was about to kick me out anyway. So I had to go up there, take my textbooks back and stuff, and talk to my teacher. I was like, I have so I can't pay for the class, so I'm gonna get kicked out, and I also have a job, and it's gonna interfere with the school schedule and stuff. So I'm gonna just have to leave the class. And she was like, I understand. She was like, well, if you ever get everything situated, you can always come back. And I was like, thank you so much. And I was really, really sad to walk out of there because and it was American Sign Language. I was learning sign language too. I was like, man, I really don't want to give this up, but I had to. I really had to do it. And so I left college and I haven't been back since. That was 2019. And then, of course, in 2020, I got sick. So I haven't been back to school since. I started working at the insurance company. And as you can see, that didn't last long. I worked there from summer of 2019. And then 2020 COVID hit. And of course, jobs, they was letting people go and stuff was shutting down. They told all of us, everybody, they had to, this building was huge, and the whole building, we had to leave it and go home and work. They was giving we had to come to work all and pick up computers to take home and set everything up. We had to work from home. And when that happened, it just went thing that year, everything just started going girl, like y'all, it was just, I couldn't even believe all of this. First of all, I couldn't believe we was in a pandemic and everything was shutting down. It was so weird. It was just like everything is like closing. There's nobody really outside. We can't go anywhere. Like, this is crazy. I was like, is this gonna end ever? Like, and then I had to work from home, and then already having issues with my health. because when I was working at the insurance company, y'all, I can't even believe I did all of this. I was way bigger than this. Like I was getting close to 200 pounds. I think I was like 180 something. I have a Jeep Wrangler outside, a 2002 Jeep Wrangler. It's a stick shift. So imagine like having all this fluid on your body from sitting, from first of all, from being sick and having edema and stuff, and then your kidneys and stuff are getting. This was before my kidneys failed. Imagine like sitting at a desk for 8 hours and you look and your feet are swollen. They're like huge and they hurt so bad that your shoes can't even fit by the end of the day. And I had to get in that Jeep, a stick shift, and step on the clutch with my ankles swollen. And it was so painful, y'all. And I had to sit in traffic because the area that I worked in, it was extremely busy. So it took me a long time to get home. And I had no AC in that Jeep. I was in there sweating when it was hot, freezing when it was cold. And I had to do that every day. 5 days a week I had to do that. That was so hard to do. And then on top, they're working and sick and in a relationship with an idiot who don't even care about none of that you going through. Just putting more stress on you. Then when you say something, oh, everything has to be about you. Like, uh, anyway, yeah, we had to go home in 2020 to work. And mind y'all, what I just said, I was already sick. And I started getting sicker when I got home because I was still sitting there working. So things just started happening. Like, I didn't even notice this until I don't even know when I did, but all I know is I had stopped eating and I didn't realize it until I thought about it. I had went 4 days without eating anything. I didn't eat nothing. And I was thinking, I just remember sitting and I was like, when was the last time that I ate? And I was like, wait, so I really went 4 days and I didn't eat nothing? And I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Whenever I'm like basically in a flare where it's about to kill me, one of the things that happened is I stop eating. I can't eat. I don't eat. I have no appetite. It's gone. And if I try to eat, I will literally start gagging. That's when I know, get up and go to the hospital. You about to die. Because that's basically what's coming next. So yeah, I was like, I went 4 days and I have not ate nothing. Then I started noticing that it was like when I tried to lay down, I felt like I couldn't breathe like here. And it was like several nights I didn't get no sleep because it just felt like something was blocking I couldn't breathe. And I know one night I stayed up crying and I was like, why can't I just get comfortable and lay down? Like I can't breathe. And I was scared because I was like, do I have COVID? I haven't even been anywhere. Like, I literally have been in the house since I got my computer and and when I leave, I wear a mask. So I was like, I hope I don't have COVID. So I remember this happened. And this was the last time I worked. I was feeling sick still. And it was time for me to get off. So I sent my supervisor a message. I was like, I'm really not feeling well. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I'm going to have to go to the doctor or something. And they was like, okay, we'll feel better and just let us know. Because they didn't know if I was talking about COVID. They probably was. So after that was the last day I worked. Because the next day, all I know is that I noticed that every time I got up and moved, I was panting like I was out of breath. Like if I just got up and walked to the bathroom and came back, I was out of breath. Like I just ran somewhere. And I could not catch my breath. I was literally sitting in the room like that. And I couldn't stop. And I know my dad walked back and I was like, is something wrong with me? I can't catch my breath. I can't stop breathing hard. And so then my mom came and she was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I can't catch my breath. I don't know what's wrong with me." And she was like, "Is it your anxiety?" I was like, "I don't feel like it's anxiety. I feel like it's something wrong here, like in my chest." So then I think she gave me like a vitamin, like it's some kind of stuff called a theanine or something that helps you kind of relax. So I took that, but it didn't do anything because and y'all, not even long after that, I started throwing up like everywhere, like all over my bed. I was just sitting in there throwing up. And all of a sudden I felt like really weak while I was throwing up and I like fell over while I was on the bed and I could not move. Like all of my limbs felt really heavy and my mom, she was like calling me on my phone and it hurt for me to y'all see this right here. Look, you see how I'm holding my phone up like this? I it hurt to even do that. Like my hand, like I was trying to pick the phone up and it was like shaking, like. And my mom was on the phone. She was like panicked. She was like, "Please say something." She was like, "Pusha, please look at me. Please say something." And I was this like holding it. And I was like, I can't. I couldn't even get, I couldn't really talk. I was talking, but I was saying like, I can't hold my phone. I can't hold my phone. And I was throwing up. I was like, I like peed on myself. I like used the bathroom on myself in my shorts and everything. I couldn't get up and go to the bathroom. I was so weak. All my limbs were heavy. Like I lost all my body strength. Like I couldn't get up. Like when you feel like when all you lose all your body strength, you can't walk. You can't do nothing. It's like my limbs, my legs and everything were heavy. They weren't working. Like I couldn't, it hurt to even try to lift anything. Lift like my leg, my hand, even my hand like this, I couldn't even do it. It hurt. So I don't know if I passed out. I probably did pass out. Because I don't think I could go to, I was really weak, so maybe I did fall asleep. But all I know is I woke up in the middle of the night and this was really weird. I woke up that night in the middle of the night and I could not see out of one of my eyes. Like it was like this. And I felt like I was trying to open it. And then I was trying to like speak or something, but I couldn't do it. And so I kind of just, I was thinking, like, what's wrong with me? And I went back to sleep. The next morning, I felt so terrible. It still hurt to move. And it was so hard for me to get up. But I was like, I have to get up and get out of these shorts because I didn't use the bathroom on myself and everything. Like the night before that, they had actually called the ambulance, my family, and the ambulance had to come back there in the room because I couldn't get up and go in there, and my back was turned to them. I couldn't even turn around to face them. They was like, "Can you turn around?" I was like, "No, I can't turn around. It hurts." So I got up and it took a lot to get in the shower and wipe my I don't and clean myself as much as I could, but then I had to get back out because I felt like I was about to fall over and I was like, I'm really sick. What's wrong with me? So my sister, she was the only one that could come help me because she had already had COVID. So we didn't know what was wrong. So she came in there and was helping me. She was trying to give me food. Like my mom was on the phone with me that morning and my sister brought me some soup and stuff. And my mom was like, "You need to eat that now." And when I tried to put the soup in my mouth, I gagged and I spit it up. And she was like, I was like, "I can't eat. I don't know. I can't swallow." And so my sister brought me some ginger ale. I could swallow that, but I couldn't swallow no food. So my mom was like, call the ambulance. So she got to go to the doctor. And my mom, I think she knew what was happening to me. Y'all, I was dying. I was dying. There's no other way to put that. I was dying. I was not eating. I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. I didn't know it, but my organs were shutting down. I was dying. And then the state that I was in, I probably wouldn't have lived another day had I not said anything. I mean, I don't think it would have went unnoticed anyway. They called the ambulance, and all I remember is that my sister came back to get me when the ambulance was there. It was like I kept like slipping away. Like I was like, like she would come in the room, I would say, I would like, I tried to eat or whatever, and I would talk to her. And then when she leave, I would lay there. And I was basically like, I didn't have a bed sitting up. It was like this big king size mattress and it was on the floor. So I was like basically laying on the floor with my head on the mattress when she came to get me. Like I was like laying, like I couldn't move. And I was like, my eyes were closed. And I was thinking, like, I'm tired. I'm just going to close my eyes. That could have been the last time I could have died right then, y'all. Cause I heard when you're dying, when you're about to die, you get like, especially when you're sick, you get like sleepy. You feel like really tired. And that's what was happening. I kept like falling asleep. So then I heard her say, Quisha, the ambulance is here. And she literally had to pick me up off the floor. I couldn't get up myself. She had to pick me up and walk me to the front door. And I remember walking through the hallway and I was thinking, like, why I really feel like I can't move. Like, what's wrong? And I know everybody, like my mom was standing by her bedroom door with my little brother and she was upset. My dad was standing at the front door and he was looking like really, they was just like heartbroken. And then the ambulance was like, we can't come in the house, but can you make it right here where they put the stretcher all the way to the front door. And they was like, can you walk out here to the stretcher? And I was like, I couldn't really talk. So I was like, I can try. And I almost fell. Like I literally had to fight to walk, just step outside to the stretcher. And I was already at the door. When I like fell on the stretcher and they had to position me because I couldn't move myself. And the last thing I remember was they was pulling me away from the house and I saw my dad standing there watching and I was just like thinking like, there's something wrong with me. Like this is not normal. So I got to the hospital. I was sitting in triage for a little bit. And it was actually some stupid mess. Actually, this was like after me and my ex had broke up. So he was already doing stupid mess that was getting on my nerves up until then. So it was some mess with him while I was in triage. This guy was friends with, he actually had called me or whatever when I was in the hospital. And he was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I was like, oh, hey, I'm all right. I'm in the hospital. I'm like really, really sick and I don't know what's wrong. He was like, oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. He was like, I actually just, he was like, I hope you feel better. He was like, I actually wanted to tell you that, he was like, is your ex name? And I was like, yeah, why? He was like, oh, I just wanted to tell you that he like sent me a friend request and like a message and stuff like. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, I don't know why he's like, I just wanted you to know your ex is like messaging me and trying to be friends with me or what. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm so sorry that he's doing this. I was like, he's just mad because I don't want him back. So he's looking to see what guys I'm talking to and trying to find out something that ain't none of his business. So I was like, thank you so much for telling me that. He was like, oh no, you good. He was like, I hope you feel better. And I was like, thank you. I'm about to call him. Y'all, I got on that phone, and I called him while I was in triage, sick as a dog, about to die. I wasn't hooked up to nothing yet. I was still hanging on for dear life. And I called him. He answered the phone. What? I was like, don't what me. I was like, so why are you sending my guy friends messages and adding them on Facebook for what? And he was like, what are you I was like, don't lie. I was like, see, this is why we're not getting back together. You're lying. I was like, why are you sending? I gave him the guy name. I was like, I have a friend named such and such. You sent him a friend request and a message. What are you doing that for? And he was like, I was like, I don't remember what he said, but I know it pissed me off because I was like, stop doing stupid stuff like that. I was like, it's none of your business who I'm talking to because we're not together no more. And you went to do whatever you wanted to do with some girl that you went out with. And you had me bring you stuff to the movies that you're on a date with her. and you're gonna sit up here and act like you supposed to know who I'm talking. No, I was like, stop doing it. So he wants to get smart and talking about some. I don't have to do what you say anymore. Remember, I was like, you piece of. I was like, I am sick in the hospital. I am feel like I'm about to die. Like I cannot move or nothing. I am not about to deal with this. I'm not about to deal with this. Like I was like, are you like? I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And he talking about some, I didn't, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know you. I was like, of course you don't know because you don't give a damn about any of this health stuff that I'm going through, and you never did. I was like, stop doing it. And that's the last time I'm gonna tell you. So I like after that I hung up and got off the phone, and then it wasn't like not long after that the doctors came in or whatever, and they was like, hey Miss Toby, how you doing? I was like, not good. And he was like, basically he was like, so your organs are failing and your kidneys have completely failed, so we have to get you on dialysis immediately or you're gonna pass away. And I was like, I like looked at him and I was looking like, what? And so when he said that, I was just staring like, oh my God. So I was saying, I was like, so I'm dying. And he was like, yeah. He was like, if we have to get you on dialysis like right away, and we have to get you in ICU now, or you're not going to make it. And so the first thing I thought about when he said that was my mom, because I knew she was panicking, and I knew she was already worried, like, oh my God, what's wrong with my baby? She's sick. I don't know what's wrong with her. And I knew that, oh my God, when my mom hears this, she's going to be so devastated because she's talked to me so much, y'all, and I'm very hard headed, and I always have been. She's told me, take care of yourself, stop eating unhealthy, exercise, stop. Like, and I wasn't doing it when I was working, because I mean I was sitting at a desk for 8 hours, and then at the job I had, we kept throwing potlucks. They kept ordering fried chicken, and the soul food bistro here, they kept ordering that. They kept getting Popeye's chicken. And then it was a store on the floor that I was working on. There was this store that had snacks and microwave dinners and stuff, and I was eating it. I was drinking sodas every single day. I was drinking Red Bull every single. I mean, I was bad. So honestly, I was not surprised that that happened. So yeah, I was like, yeah, she's gonna be upset, and everybody's gonna be really upset. So after they told me that, I was in ICU. Like, it felt like a second later I was there, and it was doctors all around me. I was laying. They had to help me. They had to pick me up and carry me over to another bed in ICU, and it was doctors all around the bed, and they was just putting needles in, checking my vitals. They was giving me COVID tests. I had stopped urinating too. I guess because my kidneys failed, so I hadn't peed in at all. So they had to put a catheter down in my bladder. And when they told me that, I was like crying, like, no, no, please don't do that. I was like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. They was doing that. Another nurse was over here holding my hand, like, it's okay, it's okay. I was like, please, please don't do this. And it was just a lot going on. And I was just like, oh my God, like what's happening? I was like looking around like, what's happening? I was thinking like, oh my God, am I gonna die? Like, it's doctors everywhere, and they doing all this stuff. Am I gonna be am I gonna be okay? And I don't really remember what happened after that, but yeah, it's a blur because I'm telling y'all, I was out of my head. I was out of my mind. I wasn't there. Like how I'm sitting here talking to y'all now, and I'm functioning. I was nothing like that. I was like how, like basically somebody who's about to die acts. That's how I was. I wasn't really speaking. I was crying and making noises, and I could get a few words out, but I wasn't really. And then I had just the energy that I had just put whatever little energy I had into cussing out my ex for calling people and starting stuff while I'm going through this. So, yeah, I don't remember what happened after they put me in ICU. I do remember when they first put me on dialysis. And so I don't know. I know that when you first start dialysis, this mark right here, if you see like some of my old videos or pictures, you might see that I used to have a catheter here. That's where they first put the catheter in your chest, and then they have to hook the needles up um to do the dialysis to clean your blood and stuff. I don't even remember when that was put in. Like I'm telling you, I don't remember. There's gaps in my memory from that because I was so just out of it. So all I know is that I started dialysis in the hospital and I hated it. I was in the hospital for a long time. I was in the hospital. It felt like I was in there for a month. I was in there for so long. And it was not good. And in the hospital I was at, they was very like rude and they just weren't taking care of me right. Now I use a different hospital, and I every time I'm in the hospital for anything, I go to this specific hospital. I don't go nowhere. It's definitely not the one I went to that year, because they just, I mean, they took care of me, but it was just stuff kept happening, and that made me say I'm not going here anymore. So, all I know is I couldn't get no sleep in the hospital. That was one thing. I couldn't get any sleep. And my anxiety was through the roof. Like I was having panic attacks every single day and night. I was in that hospital bed screaming because I couldn't sleep. I was in there crying. I was screaming. I was like talking out of my head. I remember one night specifically, I could not sleep. And it was like I was just sitting in this room by myself. Nobody could come up to the hospital to see me because of COVID. I was there by myself. And it was like I was just sitting in that room and it was quiet, and I literally, you know, when people say you can hear you can hear your thoughts, or like I literally, and then it was also like all this stuff that I had went through with like, I guess me and my ex breaking up. I guess after we broke up for like a couple months, I was doing stuff to distract myself from thinking about that. And so I'm in the hospital. I can't do nothing. So all I can do is think about it. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to have to face the fact that you're going to have to think about this now. And I think it was that, along with me being sick and other stuff, it just drove me insane. And I was in there. I remember one night, I was just like screaming at the top of my lungs. I kept pressing the nurse, but I was like, please, please, somebody, please come in here and give me something, please, so I can go to sleep. I was like, please, I want to stop. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I was like, please come give me something. And I was like shaking my head back and forth, like, please, I want something so I can stop, please. I was like, I'm having like a panic attack. Can y'all please just give me something? They were giving me this pill, and I was like, is this going to work now? And they was like, it's not going to work now because you have to keep taking. I was like, I need something that's going to calm me down now. I was like, can you please give me something, please? And it was one time because I had actually passed a gallstone too the day before I went in the hospital. So my gallbladder was actually hurting me, but my gallbladder is gone now. But then I still had it, and I had gallstone. So I passed one. So I was having pain. So it was sometimes they would actually give me like a narcotic, and that definitely made me go to sleep. So it was one time I was having a panic attack, and then my gallbladder hurt, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I need some pain medicine. And I was like, and yes, I'll be able to go to sleep too. But it was just it was bad, y'all. And I could not walk or nothing. Every time the doctors came in the room, it was like they tried to get me to stand up, and I was like, I can't get up. It was this one incident that really made me mad. These people came in from physical therapy, and they was like, oh, we're here for physical therapy, we're just trying to see how you're doing. or whatever. And then the nurse, it was a man and a woman. The woman, she like helped me up or whatever. She was like, okay. And then when I tell y'all, I could not stand up or nothing on my own. When she stood up, when she helped me up, she let me go and I fell back on the bed or whatever. And then she did it again and I fell back down and I was looking at her like, and she was like, why are you like, and I was like, huh? She literally was like, why are you like falling down? And I was like, I'm sick. I can't walk or anything. What are you talking about? Why am I falling? And she was like talking to whoever, whatever doctor. She was like, we're trying to help, but she keeps like, she act like she can't stand. I was like, lady, I'm sick. What is wrong with you? And then they left. I like called my mom and I was like, these people were very rude to me. They're like asking me why am I not able to stand up and stuff, like, so they didn't tell you anything about what was wrong with me. And you don't think that if somebody's dying they're not going to be able to stand and stuff like that? Are you not, y'all not paying attention, or y'all being stupid? They was like acting like it was funny or something. So I'm not ever going back to that hospital again. And I wish I could find them too that was doing it. There was another day. Oh, so the guy that I'm with now, we had actually met, not in person. We hadn't met in person in 2020, but we met on Facebook and we were talking. Like, it was probably like 2 months after me and my boyfriend, my ex, broke up. We broke up in February of 2020. So I started talking to the other guy. I started talking to him like 2 months later. And we had been talking like on and off for months. When I got sick or whatever, he was like, we were talking like even more. We were talking like every day, and he was checking on me like every single day. He was like, how are you doing? Are you okay? When I first told him what happened, he was like, oh my God. He was like, are you all right? I was like, I don't know. I was like, they just told me all this stuff is happening to me. And he was really there for me. He like actually, he was trying to make me feel better. And I was happy about it, but it really wasn't working because I was just so like, so, but we talked like all the time. And it was one day, mind y'all, I told my ex, when I was in triage, I told him what was going on. So he had the nerve to call me while I was in, I don't know, maybe 4 days had went by since I had first been admitted. He had the nerve to call me while I was in the hospital about the same stupid mess. Can we, why we need to get back together, say we're back together? Like, I was like, are you I was like, why I was like, I am sick, why are you doing this? I was like, I have to think about me and my health because I almost passed away. I was like, those doctors, after I got off the phone with you, they literally walked in here and said that my organs were shutting down and my kidneys have completely stopped working, and I had to get on dialysis. I have to be hooked up to a machine every other day, or they said I had to get on that immediately, or I was going to pass away that day or probably the next day. Why would I be thinking about anything to do with getting back together with you? I was like, I'm not trying to think about nothing like that right now. And his response was, it's always about you. It's everything always just has to be about. I was like, what are you talking about? It does. Yes, you're right. It does have to be about me because my life literally depends on this. I almost passed away. So if I die because I'm not thinking about myself, then what you gonna do? You still not gonna have me back. What are you talking about? I was like, you need some help. You really need some help. And I was like, leave me alone with this. And we was just going back and forth. And he had the nerve to sit here and tell me when I said something about me being sick. He was like, well, he said, karma's a bitch, ain't it? And when he said that to me, I was like, I looked at the phone and I stared straight ahead and I was like, so you're really telling me that I deserve this because I don't want to get back together with you. I was like, you're really telling me I deserve to I deserve to have all my organs shut down. I can't move. I was using the bathroom myself. I couldn't eat. Like my family they didn't even know what was happening. I was throwing up and everything. And you're telling me I deserve to die, literally die and just waste away, like fade away because I don't want to get back together with a psychopath like you. I was like, I really deserve this, right? He was just going on about, oh, you never cared about me and stuff. I was like, I'm not talking about this no more. But I was like, you already know what kind of girlfriend I was to you, so you can tell yourself all those lies all you want to. I was like, I'm thinking about me, and that's that. I was like, we're done. I'm thinking about me. And right now, I really am. So you can say whatever you want. You can say I deserve it. You can call me whatever names you want. I'm numb to all of that now because you've been doing that for years. So call me all kind of all kind of names that you've been called. He called me every name in the book, y'all. He's called me every name in the book. I didn't even care about none of that no more. I was numb to that because I was used to. I was like, that don't hurt me no more. I was like, you do whatever you want to do. You need to leave me alone. I was like, I have too much to deal with. Goodbye. I hung up on him, and when I hung up, I got really upset because he said that basically when you're in the hospital and you were about to die and stuff, you can't move and walk, and somebody mad at you about something, they like, oh, karma's a bitch, like that, like basically that's what you get, like you deserve it. And I sat there and I stared straight ahead, and I started having a panic attack, and I was crying, and I was like, I can't believe he said that to me, that I deserve this. Like it, like, so it's like basically you can walk in this hospital and look me in my eyes and see me in this state and say you deserved it. So I called the guy that's my boyfriend now. I called him and I was hysterical. And I was like, he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, my ex-boyfriend just called and he was harassing me and stuff. And he literally just told me that I deserved what's happening to me. And I was like panicking and stuff. And he was like, just calm down. You don't want to make yourself sicker. And I was like, I'm like really upset because it's like, I'm just sitting here by myself and he's like picking and stuff about this. And it's not right. I was like, I don't want to think about none of this. I don't want to think about him. And I was like, I'm like here by myself and I can't do anything. I was just like hysterical. And so he was actually near where the hospital was, so he actually like drove to the hospital and pulled up in the parking lot. And I guess he tried to come in, but they said he couldn't come up here. He couldn't come up to the room, so he literally sat outside in front of the hospital, and he was looking up at the windows, but I couldn't walk to the window so I could like look, maybe try to wave him down or something. But he was looking up at the window. He was like, I don't know which room you're in, but I'm just looking. I just want you to know that I'm right here. And I was like, he was like, just try to calm down. And he was like, he got mad and stuff. He was like, man, I wish your ex was standing here right now. I'll show him somebody that deserves something. You don't say stuff like that. And then it's like, it's just, I'm not going to get into a bunch of detail about that because I'm supposed to be putting all of this in the video about him. So I told y'all that I'm probably going to say it again in the other video, but it's just a lot more. But he really just really upset me. And I was just in bad spirits since that phone call because I was just like, he just